The following podcast is a presentation of Project Entertainment Network.
This is Zaddy Poop. You're listening to the Necrocasticon. Booyah!
I'm here today.
I'm recording audio and video, so
Testy.
we'll see it happens.
Right. When you say that, though, you have to say it like a self-entitled asshole. I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Okay. Why? Ridiculous.
The original ending was better. He deserved to die. He's such a
good shot.
Yeah.
My favorite part of that is Kevin Smith with a mullet walking in there and taking his time.
Jason Mewes stuffing shit in his pocket in his mouth. That was hilarious.
Hi, Christine.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello, Christine.
Hi, Christine.
We've only got Skip and Scott with me tonight.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was going to be a party.
Oh, it's a party when you come visit us.
Exactly.
Wow, good to see you.
Yes. Now, before we get into everything tonight, Christine Morgan, guys, joining us again here on the Necrocasticon. Is awesome.
Yes.
We know that, there's a lot of crazy people in horror fandom. We know that there's a lot of, crazy people in Portland where you lived for a while. But I've learned that recently, you have discovered the craziest people in the world through the Lego community.
Yes.
They're very particular when they order something off of eBay or bid on something on eBay.
Did you tell him it was a 4x4 and not a 2x2?
Well, I had all these sets from the architecture line that had been among my late uncle's things. So I put them on eBay. And I got, are these sets complete? Have you counted every single piece? And I was like, they're my dead uncles. To which I got one person saying, oh, sorry for your loss. And everybody else was all, well, still, you should inventory every single. It's like, do you want the damn Legos or not?
I was told there would be glow in the dark pieces, and I do not see any of them in the inventory.
You probably would have had better luck on Bricklink.
Probably.
Bricklink is strictly for Lego people.
I don't know. They might still want pictures of every single piece.
They do.
Yeah.
So can we expect to have a Lego enthusiast meet a heinous death in the future Christine Morgan book?
Well, I also watched that Lego Masters game show.
Yeah.
So there might be something in there.
Look,
find inspiration anywhere.
When my daughter went to college, we just took all her old Legos and sold them by the pound.
I work with a local.
People, are they all actual Lego or are there Mega Blocks?
There are Mega Blocks in there.
I work with the local Lego community here. There's a group of them. They have a group. They have monthly meetings and everything, like AA. And only it should be plastic
they all came
anonymous. From. It should be plastic anonymous. But these guys come in with once a month, and they bring in their new kits, and you're looking at thousands of dollars one person just dropped on pieces of plastic. Just to build like Hogwarts or and then they don't want to take them apart.
I know. I don't want to take mine apart. They're on my sofa table downstairs in my living room. I got a Millennium Falcon and an AT-AT and Slave One. Yeah, my wife just loves that shit, I tell you.
This is why I'm an erector set guy. I like erector sets. You can build more stuff with it.
Yes, he does.
So
I'm holding out for the Battle of Helm's Deep, personally.
Oh,
actually, that has been built. There was a group of people in, I want to say England or France,
raid everybody's built Lego collection so they had enough pieces for the armies.
Yep. And I'm going to tell you, about 10 years ago, they made a little zombie Lego person, and you're going to spend $50-$60 minimum on one of those nowadays.
The Lego zombies are expensive. Yes, they are. It's weird how it is. Legos. We're a heavy metal and horror podcast. We're talking about fucking Legos. Yeah.
Sorry, that's my fault, I guess.
No, it's my fault because I brought that shit up. It's all on me on this.
Well, like you said, this is going to be inspiration for future work here.
Yeah.
Now,
And
speaking of
Go
future
ahead.
work, right now you got a new book out, Trench Mouth, and
Yes.
knowing you, that's a double entendre title.
I like wordplay. I don't know. It popped into my head and I couldn't resist, which is pretty much how everything I do happens. But yeah, as we're recording this, today is its official release day.
oh wow,
Wonderful.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
it's like
Fantastic.
one of those giant deep sea beastie
Yeah.
things there, right?
I have a real weakness for deep sea chompies. Whether they're books or really bad shark movies or whatever, I'm there. And I always knew that it was my destiny to write one eventually. Though it's funny because I won't even go snorkeling and I'm scared to death of sharks and jellyfish and most things in the ocean anyway.
I am
But-
too, because my dad grew up down in Florida for a while, and he told me about when he got mauled by a moray eel.
Yeah, there's freaky shit in there. Freaky shit.
Yeah, I'm not going in water where shit's gonna want to eat me.
Right.
I have no problem with
You
that.
be my guest, Skip.
Go right ahead.
I'm more than happy to look at the top of it from a beach, or better yet, the deck of a cruise ship. Thank you.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't want to get in the water now.
What about
the-
from
the
a Viking
closest-
longboat?
That would be, when I stood in the Viking Ship Museum in Norway, actually seeing with my own eyes how just a couple inches of wooden planking was between those people and certain icy death, I was even more impressed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some serious balls right there. We're gonna get in this little wooden ship and go out without knowing what's out there?
Yeah, and that's the key word you used there, little wooden ship. Those longboats were not very big.
Yeah. Actually seeing them in person was quite a moment. I'm sure everyone else in the museum thought I was weird, because they're all going around looking at the exhibits, and I was just sort of standing there, taking it all in.
Right.
Yeah, that was a fantastic experience.
Yeah, they're really just big, giant freaking canoes.
No, ironically, the only reason I was there was because we went on a cruise ship to Norway. So I kind of had both going in that one.
So what'd you think of the fjords?
Oh, beautiful, spectacular. There was one port of call we stopped at that had they had this little retirement home just nestled in the village by the fjords, and I was telling my daughter, if you're ever going to stick me in a home, I'm with that one.
I'm sure she
My
appreciates that.
daughter, being the sarcastic thing she is, said, well, I was just going to put you on a bus to Tijuana, but
I was gonna put you out on the ice floe in the North
Yeah,
Atlantic.
exactly. It'll be warm down in there. Jeez.
When you're looking at the fjords, what heavy metal do you want to listen to?
oh, I'm an Amona Marth girl all the way.
Yeah, you mentioned that the last time you were on. I never saw you as a big metal woman until one day you
Metal is
had an
inside.
Amona Roth t-shirt
Inside.
on
Yes.
Yeah.
something. I'm like, holy shit, yes,
it's
her
in the-
stock
it's
just
in the blood.
I don't know if you can see the poster behind me.
Yep, we see
Yeah.
it right there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You
No,
like
I've
Wardruna?
seen them in concert 3 times now.
Mhm.
And again, I've been kind of the odd duck out, surrounded by huge, hairy, bearded guys, and here I am. but yeah, it's awesome.
And if they only knew what you do, they'd all be standing around you, hero worshiping you.
Yeah, exactly. What they knew you're creating. Like,
the last
Wait, it's her?
the last one I went to, I brought along several copies of The Raven's Table and left them as a gift for the band. So who knows? Maybe they'll read something of mine.
If they can read.
Even though your text tone sounds like the TIE fighter going by, you should always turn your phone off while recording. Podcasts, Tom, just, sharing that with you guys.
Oh, you did that to make an example of yourself so you don't embarrass anybody else, right?
Exactly.
Your supervisory skills suck.
I really like Scald. They've got 2 albums out now, and they did some traditional Viking covers of modern songs on their remix album. I thought that was pretty cool. Seven Nations Army, the songs that they use in the Vikings TV show. But one that's been really popular is the My Mother Told Me song. That's really starting to get popular because of Harold chanting it and singing it in one of the episodes of Vikings.
Oh.
That one, I went down a rabbit hole on YouTube one day for it. Oh my God, it was everywhere. So that's another great one to check out. Another one of those good traditional type Viking songs. They're always, you can't understand a damn word they're saying because it's in Norwegian, but hey, it sounds cool.
Oh.
It wouldn't sound right in English.
I stopped watching that show after like season 3.
It's not a bad show, even though it fucks with history hardcore.
Really? Get out of here.
No.
I tried. I really did. But I couldn't get through the first season. Even the volume off, just watching it for scenery. It was just like, this is not my idea of Vikings.
Yeah, one of my first internet journalism jobs was covering Vikings for thisisinfamous.com. And because of that, because I'm a history nut, I was like, no, when I do these reviews, I'm going to say what really happened afterwards. I'm going to review the show, and then I'm going to okay, this is the true history behind what you saw on this episode tonight. I didn't actually. Yeah. But they actually became pretty popular at the website because I was educating people as well as, going over entertainment. And once you get past and understand why they did what they did on the show, you can come to accept it a little more because, sometimes history is a little boring at points, and you need to amalgamate a few different characters every now and then because they were so similar in history with the things that they did. So they did that in Vikings a few times, and they sped the timeline up a bit.
Yeah.
But, hey, it was a pretty good, fun show to watch. I thought, at least.
Well then, and the more people who are enjoying it anyway, even if it's not my thing, anything that brings Viking fans some joy is good for me.
Mm-hmm. Going right back to the old Kirk Douglas
We're not talking about
movie.
the football team, by the way. We're not talking about the football team.
Well,
I remember watching the old Kirk Douglas and Tony Curtis movie back in the day when I was a little boy. And just, falling in love with the misrepresentation there of the armor and the helmets and stuff. I love how that still endured, though. Even though we know it didn't happen, they still put horns on the helmets because it looks so fucking cool.
I also have a weakness for the show Norsemen, and they address the horned helmets issue in one of my favorite scenes there.
Oh. I haven't seen that one. How do they do it?
One of the Vikings shows up with horns on his helmet, and the others tell him he looks ridiculous, and they get into an argument about fashion statements and whether the horns will ever catch on. And
Oh, Jesus.
And it's funny how that came about. It's just because they buried them with their drinking horns, and they put them up by their heads, and they thought they were part of the helmets.
And then Wagner comes along with all the
Ride of the Valkyries.
and,
Right. Now we see Loki with those horns on his head too.
Oh, yeah,
especially in the comic books.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Did you see? I don't know. Are you a fan of the Marvel movies?
I am, but I don't have the Disney Plus at the moment, so I haven't been watching Loki.
Oh. Okay, I won't
It's
talk about it
good.
now then. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's fantastic. We'll just leave it at that. Probably the best Marvel show yet.
Hi.
In fact,
WandaVision was great.
yeah.
WandaVision.
Skip
And
it.
Falcon and
Away.
Winter
He said that
Soldier.
with WandaVision. He said that with
Falcon.
Falcon. So it's like they just that just means they get better and better as they go. That's the way I'm reading it.
How is
Practice
it that Kevin
makes perfect.
Feige keeps doing this? Without any pressure, it seems like. Christine,
Because
you've been nominated for awards, and
I
how
have.
do you feel that pressure? Do you feel that pressure? Is the next thing I write going to be just as good as that, or better than the last thing I wrote? Or do you have that fear?
My Splatterpunk finally arrived. There were delays with the trophy production from
You're
the
Bernie.
pandemic, so this is the 2020 award that only got here like a couple weeks ago.
COVID.
What is that? What is that on top there?
That's the Bernie.
It's a little zombie dude with an axe in the head, based off of a Bernie Wrightson illustration.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
But yeah, that I'm still. I mean, it's a year later, and I still can't believe it.
You're too humble because you're so awesome. You're too humble.
Well, even when I tell myself that, it's always a shock to find anybody else thinking so.
Yeah, myself getting nominated this year just blew me away. To me, that's a win.
Yeah.
I got a little respect from the community, and that felt
Yeah.
good. It really does. It helps with imposter syndrome a lot.
Yeah. I mean, the first time I was up with Spermjackers from Hell, I was up against Edward Lee, and it's like, oh, come on. we all know how this is going to go. But yeah, I remember telling him after the award ceremony, hey, maybe I'll take it next year for Lake House. And then, son of a bitch, there it was.
Don't want to invoke
spoken
Kid
in
Rock,
reality.
but hey, you went platinum.
Yeah.
Yeah, look where it got him. Anyway, moving on. I mean, but the cool thing about that was you were nominated with that group, and just being nominated, like Tom says,
Oh, yeah.
gets you that more exposure and gets more people like, wait, who's this? Why is she got what has she got? Let me get it. Oh my freaking god! And then just
Yeah.
from there.
And, that crowd particularly, the Killer Con Extreme Horror crowd, that's my people. That's where I've felt most at home, most comfortable, most belonging. So receiving that honor from them was and is and will always be just a momentous validation and honor. So
Yeah, I feel the same way too. But you got the Bernie now though. Man,
Yeah.
that thing just looks great on your shelf, I bet.
It'll go
I'm
straight
pretty-
next to the castle she has in the back there under the clock.
yeah, my Fisher-Price castle from when I was 6 years old.
You still
Yeah, he
have
wasn't
one of
refer-
those.
Wasn't referring
Yeah.
to Predator.
Shit.
All I have is the
Mine.
castle and the dragon, but it's still there.
I wish I still have my Castle Grayskull. I don't have that
My
anymore.
my brother had all those.
Really, I had Snake Mountain and the
Oh, yeah.
Castle Grayskull.
Christine,
Gave
I
away
had the
neighbors,
Adventure
but never-
Team G.I. Joe, the Mummy set, and I had Mike Power with the little thing where you made his helicopter hand go around so he could fly. Oh,
Planet of the Apes. That's what I had.
He's looking for it right now.
guess
You
what
know,
they
this guy's
re-released?
got Planet
The Mego Planet of the Apes figures. Oh, you can't see it.
Can't
No,
see it.
it's- there it is.
There you go. Yep, we got it.
Nice.
Got the dock.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, they just re-released these, so I had to get Dr. Zaya because he's one of my favorite villains of all time. You know why? Because he was right. That's why.
Humans are scum.
He was actually right. He wasn't Taylor's the villain. I'm sorry.
Oh, hey, you don't have to tell me. The villains most often, they may have the right idea. They just
Yeah.
kind of go about it the wrong
I
way.
learned that from I Am Legend. That whole book, he makes you think that Neville is the
hero.
the hero, and he really isn't.
No.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
He's paying for his crimes. Karma, bitch.
Damn right.
Yep. Flip that trope on its head. What tropes have you flipped on their heads? you
Oh,
think?
I love doing that. As many as I can. You mentioned trench mouth earlier, and it is very much written with kind of poking loving fun at all the tropes you see in those, giant undersea monster shark movies. And
So
things
is there
like
a undersea space, like space station,
Yeah,
undersea,
station.
underwater?
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Uh-huh. Okay.
It's a scientific research station called Fathom 5,
Yes.
where a team of genius scientists are trying to advance human evolution to help us survive in the oceans. In other words, making freaky fish people.
Yes.
So they get some test subjects, volunteers, whatever, who have really no idea what they're in for, and take them down into the depths where, of course, also the denizens of the deep who already live there, are a little concerned about this intrusion into their realm. So I've got these people on the scientific research station, and I've got a lot of scenes from the perspectives of the creatures in the deep, which for me was particularly fun. I love getting into the heads not just of different types of people, but different creatures altogether. So being able to put myself in the space of thinking, all right, if I were a giant squid, or if I were an anglerfish, or if I were a sea turtle who was like 450 years old, what would it be like? And I really enjoy stretching and exploring that kind of challenge.
Yeah, one of my favorite books that ever did that was Raptor Red, Bob Baker's book back in the 90s.
I've got it right over here on my shelf. I love that one too.
Yeah, and it's totally told from the point of view of a Utah raptor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful, wonderful. I love it because he gets in there. A prophecy, David Seltzer's prophecy too, when it told from the point of view of the mutant bear. That's one of the classic things about the wild monster book. I think that is prevalent, especially in Jaws.
Yeah. But yeah, I love being able to play with that point of view. It's like, can I make this relatable while still keeping it entirely, alien?
Mm-hmm.
Which, especially down in the deep sea, alien is about the best way to put it.
Was that the biggest challenge you faced writing this?
No, actually, the biggest challenge I face is I'm not good with technology. I'm not up to speed with phones and all that. So part of why I write a lot of historical fiction is I don't have to deal with all that. Writing something modern and more high-tech, that was a challenge because I knew I was much more likely to not know what I was talking about and make myself look like even more of an idiot in front of people who do know. So yeah, for me, the science, the technology, making sure that I got it just plausible enough to seem like I actually knew what I was doing, that was the challenge.
So what did you do that? Did you talk to other people say scientists like Patrick Freewald or anything like that?
I watched a lot of documentaries. I have several people who are my go-tos for advice. I'm also not good with like guns and stuff. So if I'm gonna write a scene where there's a lot of shooting, I want to make sure I've got the guns right, so I have people I go to and say, okay, what kind of a gun would this person use in this situation? Make me look at least like I'm not completely wrong.
Oh, that's a drone you hear landing at the airport right now. Yeah, you gotta love podcasting with the windows open. There is a, or as they call it, unmanned aerial vehicle (UAVs).
UAVs.
Yeah, you don't call them drones.
Don't call them drones now. That's a bad word.
Yeah. So the kid's sitting in the cubicle, chewing bubble gum and playing the video game. Is just low flight over my house just now with that darn thing.
Yeah, I bought a book about meeting people. It was delivered by a drone. What does that tell you?
That seems about right for today.
Yeah, it does. So are you permanently moving down to California?
I moved down here to live with and help take care of and support my mother, who is having all sorts of health issues and had been on her own. She's currently still in a nursing facility, so we're not really sure how it's all going to work out, but I'm here as long as she needs me or until she gets sick of me and throws my ass out. My siblings still both had kids at home, have spouses. I was sort of the loose cannon with no real huge reason keeping me any place in particular.
Wow.
I mean, it meant giving up my overnight shift job in the residential facility, but oh well. I've done that for 30 years. I think I can get by.
Yeah, I'm sure you can get another job doing that if the time comes if you need to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I kind of think that at this point in your career, you're gonna get into that point where you might be able to, live off writing. I hope, maybe pay the bills.
I'm trying to. I mean, if nothing else, as long as I'm living here, the house is paid off. It's rent free.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I can, keep myself and the cats fed, then.
How many cats you got?
3.
3 cats? What are their names?
Jackie, Numbers, and Misha.
Aw, kitties.
And they're all hiding somewhere else in the house right now because it's hot. That's going to be the hardest thing to get used to. It's 90-something degrees here right now.
Oh my gosh. Is this Southern California?
Yep.
Oh, so you're out near where the Endless took place. Great.
Yeah, this was my grandparents' house, and then my mom moved into it to take care of her mom.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's kind of
seeing the pattern.
Circle,
Circle of life.
Yeah, keep it in the family, I guess.
Yeah,
Circle
right
of
up
real
until
estate.
my daughter puts me on the bus for Tijuana.
Oh, that's right.
Well, you are in Southern California. It's not too far away.
A lot cheaper than flying you back to Norway.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you could always ask for a Viking funeral so you can be buried at sea with a
There you go.
longboat.
Just like
Set
Odorous.
me on fire and push me out to sea.
Yep.
Speaking of cats, the young man that I sent you the short story of that you looked over, we gave that short story to Lisa Lee Tone, and she edited it for him.
Oh, uh-huh.
And then he submitted it to Gabino's teenager call.
Oh, wow.
So knock on wood, Gabino will like it, and he'll get it published. So.
Oh, that would be fantastic. That was a good
It would be
read.
for him too. I told him it'll get him girlfriends.
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
I'm really glad that he followed through with that.
Yeah,
That's
I was
awesome.
impressed.
Yeah, I was too.
I tell you guys, literally one night I'm joking around where we're talking about cats and taxoplasmia, whatever, however you ever pronounce it there. And somebody said that it can paralyze you. And Liam comes up out of the blue. Imagine if you were paralyzed by that and your cats ate you alive. I said, why don't you write that story? 3,000 words or less. You've got 2 weeks to do it. He wrote it the next day.
Yeah. That was good stuff.
Yes, the kid I'm teaching to be a dungeon master.
Kids have all the time, no responsibility.
Oh,
They
he
can do
has
this.
responsibility. He's a honor roll student, so.
Yeah.
He's a smart kid. He wants to be a biologist. He goes, if
But
I can have fun during college and help pay for college with writing, hey, I'll do it. It's better than working in a Taco Bell.
and it's good to know the future is in good hands, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm just so impressed with this kid. It's not very often. Everybody wants to do what we do,
Yeah.
but it's not everybody has the tenacity or the drive or the work ethic to do what we do. And sometimes when they find out that sometimes it is harder sometimes than flipping burgers, or it is harder than selling cars, or it is harder than working in a call center, they shy away from it.
Yep.
How do you as a writer overcome some of the negatives of this craft, and what advice would you give to other writers to help them with that as well?
Well, I mentioned my 30 years working residential psych. That's when I actually got most of my writing done. So it's not the usual situation because I was on the company clock. So even if I wasn't selling anything, I was getting paid by the hour to write, sort of. So I didn't really have the experience of trying to balance work and writing. What I more had was the problem that whether or not I'd be able to write on any given night was entirely up to the residents who lived there.
Right.
Some nights it would be quiet, I wouldn't see anybody. Other nights the whole house would be up and everything would just be completely bonkers. So I envy those who actually have a routine because I've never been able to do that. I just sort of have to take it as I can and roll with whatever gets thrown my way. So, I don't know, being able to do that, though, I guess it helps me. If you can't have a routine, then at least go with what you've got and be able to be flexible and not, tell yourself, well, I have to have a routine or I can't do this. Because then you just wind up hobbling yourself.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it can be tough, too. Yeah, especially if there's a lot of distractions around. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, Scott, the same thing with you saw the same thing, working in pro wrestling, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's as I'm listening to her talk, it's like the same thing you hear with wrestling, you hear it with musicians, you hear it with artists of any kind, dancers, writers. It's all entertainment, So it's that entertainers are against the grain, supposed to be different sort of people who don't have that straight up regimented lifestyle, and it's that desire to be different that is a drive to create. And so with Christine's talking about not having that structure, that leads yourself to more time to really analyze and imagine, the story in mind. But with that, you always have to deal with block of some kind, writer's block or whatever. So for you, Christine, when that occurs, what do you do to remedy that?
That's why these past few weeks since the move have been interesting because with Mom still in the hospital and the care facility and me not having a job, it's like suddenly I have time to set up a routine. I don't know how long it'll last once Mom comes home, but it's been different. It's been weird.
You guys hear
her? Sorry, Christine, but we're having a problem here. We're barely hearing her.
Your
slow on your end.
Your sound's buffering. All whacked out right now.
Yeah, it's buffering there.
It's buffering, I think.
Give it a second here. I may have to let it to reset.
Or give us a mic check, Christine.
What?
Oh yeah, it's still weird. That's odd.
Yeah, I can hear feedback coming through hers.
Yeah, we're getting feedback.
Okay, remember, I'm not technological. What can I do?
Mm-hmm. Do you want to have her hang up and call her back in, Tom?
Yeah, I'm gonna hang up, Christine, and call you right back in.
You're gonna call you right back.
Okay? Oh shit. All right.
Tommy left the chat.
I don't know.
Yeah, Tom, you left.
You hung up
Okay.
on yourself, man.
Yeah, you hung up on yourself.
Yep. All
Okay,
right.
there we go.
I'm gonna call her back in. Oh shit.
That's better. I can hear and see her now.
All right. Now that we've figured, that technology curse that you said you had, it came through. I get it when I talk with Garrett Cook. When he comes online, he's got the curse of technology too.
It's a West Coast thing.
It's got to be a Portland thing.
It's got to be West Coast.
Maybe.
So we'll do a take 2 on the answer to dealing with writer's block.
Oh, dealing with writer's block. Usually I have a lot of different projects going on at any one time. So if I run into a stall on something, I can switch to something else. And I also, I review, I edit, I proofread for other people. So if my own stuff is tripping me up, I just go, work on somebody else's. And sometimes I just have to set something aside and walk away and go do something else. Play video games, do crafts, watch Mad Shark movies, whatever it takes to get things moving again.
So it's a question of not trying to force yourself to write. It's actually just getting the hell away from it.
Right.
Either like going to another project or like play video games, watch a movie, get it out of your head, and hopefully it's going to come back to you. That's very interesting. I've heard also people say in the same case that they get writer's block is just to start researching more. Like you were just saying, kind of review and read and all that stuff. So it's get your mind into some other project.
Try to stay creative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I'm not writing something myself, I'll make notes or I will make a picture. I'm glad I learned graphic design because now I can just go, that new that Voila app that's out right now that makes everybody into little Disney characters. I had a blast with that fucker this week, let me tell you, because I was taking stock photos and running them through that, and then I was running that picture through Prisma to turn it into an actual cartoon picture. So it wasn't just a face, it was the whole thing, and it blended in better. So that looked really badass. So I got to play around with that. So that kept me creative when I wasn't writing.
Yeah.
I worked on a first order lens.
There you go. That's for a lighthouse, right? Or a train?
Yes, it's for a lighthouse, not a train.
Not a train.
Although I'm sure that some first order lenses have been shipped on trains, but yeah.
Now, Christine.
Yeah.
What's next from you?
I'm currently about 2/3 of the way into Warlock Infernal, which is the sequel to Lake House Infernal.
This has an Ed Lee feel to it.
Yeah, it's the Ed Lee sandbox again.
Yeah. Lake House Infernal was a sequel to his Lucifer's Lottery.
Mm-hmm.
And he graciously let me play with his toys. And then
he's got some great toys.
Once I got started, I couldn't stop. So after Lake House, I went to him all. So, would I pay if I do the sequel? and yeah, he said sure. It's been delayed with the move and everything, but it's coming right along. It picks up directly after the events in Lake House Infernal and follows the surviving characters from the first one. And yeah, I'm having a great time with it. But Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've also got, Trenchmouth just came out. I've got one called Birthright that is more non-extreme, hard to classify genre-wise, coming out soon. I have several project invites in the works for, when I'm done messing with Warlock. So yeah, I'm keeping busy, and my own sister has threatened me with bodily harm if I don't do a sequel to Murder Girls. So if she wants Murder Girls 2, it took her 8 years to finally read the damn thing. And then she's all, so where's the sequel? I was like, well, where were you 8 years ago when the first one?
Family's
8 years
the
to
worst
write
when
it,
it
Christine. You're
comes to-
slacking.
Yeah.
I know.
Family's the worst when it comes to trying to get them to read something you've written.
Yeah.
Oh, and then when they do, they're the worst critics too, because they're either kissing your butt or they're brutal. There's no in between. They're one or the other. Like my mom.
Well, yeah,
Is there an F-bomb in there? Nah, I ain't gonna touch that.
I found Typho in Lake House Infernal. And I was like, oh, damn it. After all that.
Lake House Infernal, and the new one. Will there be a third venture into that to make it a trilogy for you?
I would love to. I hope so. I think I'm geared toward writing in series because I played a lot of role-playing games. I was always the game master. You always had to have the next adventure coming along. So everything I write wants to have more. I know I have for my splatter western, The Night Silver River Run Red, which is also up for a splatterpunk this year. I have ideas for follow-ups for that. It never ends, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
How do you keep track of these ideas? Do you index them? Do you just lay them out? Or you just keep them in the back of your head?
Mostly in the back of my head and some occasional, just little notes in emails to myself. I'm not a plotter. I'm not an outliner. So it's very, seat in the pants. I come up with characters in a situation and throw them together and see what happens.
I find it hard myself to keep track of all that in my head. Do you have a system where you do that so that you don't lose track? Do you use index cards or anything like that?
No, I've been to some of John Skip's workshops, and he is a fiend for his index cards. He's got a whole system. It's impressive. It's way too organized for me. I just leave myself little notes in the manuscript. It's like, don't forget to follow up on this, and then hope for the best.
Yeah, myself, because of my ADD, I have to have those cards because somebody will be named Fred in one
Squirrel.
and then Squirrel next. It's in my new book, I spelled Tiffany with an I in 4 paragraphs, and then 3 paragraphs later with a Y. And it took 6 beta readers to notice this change. So
Maybe they thought you did it on purpose. They were just being nice.
The last thing you want is a nice beta reader.
That's true.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No, you do want one yes man beta reader. Somebody to build your ego a little bit. And you also need a bunch of moderate people, but you also need that hard ass. That person that's going to be rough on you. And it's usually one of your peers or somebody you look up to. Do you have anybody like that beta reads for you that tells you your stuff is shit, Christine?
I'm more often the one doing it for other people.
Yeah.
I do a lot of beta reading. I proofread for Edward Lee. We've gotten into some interesting discussions.
Really? With Ed?
Well, I remember emailing him once, and it was like, and I worked this into Lake House Infernal because he's a character in it. But it's like, I email him going, okay, is it cunt kicking with a hyphen or without, because you got it both ways, and you've got cream pie as all one word, as two separate words, and hyphenated. Which one do you want? And he's like, I don't care, pick one and fix it. But it's like, I can't believe, this is...
And keep it consistent.
These are the conversations you're going to have.
Or when I was proofing White Trash Gothic 3 for him, we got into an argument about the size of a character's breath. Because as he described them, I'm thinking, weird as it is to say, those aren't big enough. So I'm like getting these model graphic form, proportion, designy things on the internet going, well, let's see, if the character's this tall and her breasts are supposed to be that big, they'd be... And so I'm sending him all this info, and then he called me a tit stickler. He's like, I'm trying to help here.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I love that.
All right, next time I talk to him, I'm gonna bring that up.
Yeah, you bet.
Tit stickler.
It's stickler.
So it's like, well, okay, that's what I
She's
do.
a stickler tickler. Stickler tickler.
So yeah, and I have a few people who read for me, and it really is. It's a give and take. It's we all got to look out for each other, and
Because really, too, you're all really representing each other.
Yeah.
Representing this entire scene. So you gotta be as you gotta think about that too. It's like with wrestling or music or anything else. Like if this other person is representing your genre, your vocation, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You want to make sure it's on point. You got to make sure that it's as good or better than anything you've seen before. And for that, you got to be harsh sometimes. You got to kick them in the ass. Sometimes we need that.
The community is so niche, Scott. It's like a family unit.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
And I don't see it as a competition. I mean, when someone comes along and I discover someone, I'm gonna pick on Chandler because shit, Chandler. It was like, here he is. He's half my age. He's not only already better than I am now, but he's better than I'll ever be. And part of me is like, goddamn kids. But the rest of me is just so thrilled. And everything I see from him is better and better. And I just love watching him climb. He's going to be a megastar.
Yeah, I think he's going to cross over mainstream.
Yeah, and it thrills me no end to see that happen for someone who, is just so good.
Mm-hmm. Lucas Mangum, too. Another one I consider crossover mainstream. Those are the guys I look to because I have got that same ethic. I love extreme horror. I love I love the violence of extreme horror. But I've also noticed, because I'm so well read, that there are aspects of extreme horror in mainstream fiction. It's just how you place them in there.
Yeah.
For them to work properly so that middle America accepts that shit.
And there are plenty of bizarro works and extreme horror works that are themselves elevated and literary, to use all those, highfalutin snobby words.
Cormac McCarthy.
Yeah, and it's just some of the most extreme writers I met, again, like Chandler, are brilliant and educated, and they're not just throwing out garbage for the sake of shock. I mean, this is actual artistry and craft, and yeah, so people who come along and say, oh, well, it's all just gore for gore's sake. It's like, not all of it, no.
How do you feel about the current controversy over trigger warnings on books?
I've been following that, and I haven't really chimed in because I'm not sure what how I feel about that. I mean, I recognize the usefulness of them. I also worry that, you know, it might hold writers back. One of my personal concerns would be that if I were to put them on my books, I might miss something. You know, I might not include something, and then if someone comes along and is upset by that, they're all the more upset because they weren't warned. You know, and I know I have my own personal, you know, hot buttons that are pretty obscure and weird, and I don't feel like it's anybody else's responsibility to put warning labels for every single little possible thing, because then it just is going to get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I write some pretty tacky stuff. You know, the phrase "dolphin gang bang."
Known for baking cookies, by the way.
Well, you're right. And I recall, again, I'm well-read, so I know that many books back in the day had forewords in them where the writer would say, hey, you know, some of the stuff in this book's a little, you know, tough to read. But I did it that way just to show the brutality of it or the realism behind it, or for whatever reason. And I think it's always been the writer that's...
Like, in Sperm Jackers from Hell, I just promised Jeff Burke at least 2 gratuitous dog-fucking scenes.
yeah, but the name of the book is Sperm Jackers from Hell.
Yeah.
So you know what you're getting when you buy that book.
That in itself, yeah.
It's like buying death metal.
Yeah.
You should know what you're getting into. But when it says, you know, butchered at birth or pierced from within or, you know, once upon a cross, you should know what you're in for. There should not need to be a warning about that. Like, you're going to listen to some weird shit.
There's a character in the Night Silver River Red named Horsecock. You know, that should be its own little thing right there. You know? I mean, and I think the part of it, is the worry that it's a slippery slope, and once you start posting warnings, you're not going to be able to cover everything, and something's going to get missed, and it's going to blow up into an even bigger problem than otherwise might. So I don't know. That's kind of where I am. You know, or I had cancer in my face. I've been through several surgeries and radiation treatments. That was horrible, and it seemed like for the longest time, every book I was getting sent for review had people with facial trauma or cancer or things like that. And it's like, but you know, that's on me. And I know that they weren't sending me those, you know, deliberately to go, hey, you know, Christine had cancer in her face. Let's muscular. You know, so I feel very conflicted and mixed, and I haven't really decided yet on probably where I am on that issue.
I think a lot of us are in the same camp as you. Absolutely. There's no doubt. I know myself, I didn't come into it until after the fact because I'm limited in my social media presence. Just because I'd rather be reading books than reading Facebook posts. And I was like, you know, there's some merits to what's being said here. But on the same token, you know, you're buying an extreme horror book. You know, you should expect.
You should know what you're getting into with titles like Certain Times.
And then there's also, you know, there's also the element of spoilers or surprise. I mean, when I watched Midsummer, I was not expecting the clip scene to go the way it did.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was a shocker. But I wouldn't have wanted to have been warned beforehand because it might have taken away some of the experience.
Right, the same with Hereditary. spoiler alert,
Yeah.
the head out the window.
Yeah.
Right, the
So
same
I don't
thing.
know. It's a tightrope. It really is.
Well, the community will get through this again. We seem to divide and part and come back together frequently. So, and the right thing always seems to be done in the long run. So, we just go with the flow, I guess. That's the best way to put it.
Best you can do.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Christine Morgan, we once again thank you for joining us here on the Necrocasticon. And I want to tell you,
for having me. It's been a while.
yeah, I want to tell you that your current plight right now, with your mom, has been very inspirational to me on the project that I'm working on now. I think I've mentioned to you before. It's about a patient with Alzheimer's. So your plight's been, you're not alone in your plight. I've got a lot of empathy for you. And it's also been inspiring to people that follow you too. So keep doing what you're doing, and we've got your back. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Hearts all around. Have a good night, Christine.
Take care, Christine. Yes.
Prolific Christine Morgan.
Yes.
Yeah, we love Christine Morgan here at the Necrocasticon. We absolutely do.
Yes.
All right. So.
I want her to be my grandma.
Yeah.
Even though she's old enough to be my sister.
She's my age.
I know she's old enough to be my sister, but I want her to be my grandma too.
Yeah, she's like her sister. Damn, she's our Viking sister. Yeah, what'll happen if we piss her off? She'll blood eagle us. That's right.
Ouch.
All righty. So yeah, I still
think those boats were based on dares. They just got ripped on meat. I bet you can't go across the goddamn forge in this little canoe, can you?
Was a dare. Hey, what are you gonna do with the rest of this carcass here? I don't know.
I tell you to eat it.
The guts and some bone scraps.
Eating a lot of reindeer. It's like, I bet you can't do this in that canoe. Oh, really? Well, guess what? Where the fuck are we? I don't know. This is new land. Hey, there's people. Let's kill and rape them.
Let's kill them and pillage.
All about ego. You've said it yourself, dude. It's all about the ego of Norse people. That's why they pulled that bullshit with the black metal, garbage. Where they always
absolutely. It's
build
all
themselves
about
up,
fame.
working the gimmick. Make themselves feel bigger than they are. It's all an ego boost. It's all about pride.
It's all about being immortal.
Mm-hmm.
And you become immortal by having fame. That's how you do it. It's all the Celtic and Teutonic tribes were the same way. That's what it was all about. Just be, and that's why Irish hell is a life of an eternity of mediocrity.
Boredom.
No, you're not bored. Your life just goes on.
Yeah, it's boring.
You don't become
it's
anything huge.
Special.
You just keep doing what you've been doing for eternity.
It's Groundhog Day.
Yeah, pretty much. Forever. You go to the pub every day, get drunk, go home, get laid, eat a pizza, get up the next day, go to the pub, get drunk.
Get up, go to the bar, get drunk.
For eternity.
And on
Imagine
and
that
on.
would get boring after a little while. So, this week, not at the movies, but Garcinia Hall and Company got with helicopters. Got with Nick from the Helicopters and Johanna from Lucifer, and did a cover of Jane from Jefferson Airplane, or Jefferson Starship, actually.
Really?
Yeah, that's killer. It's killer. So here I am calling out Nick and Johanna. Do a collaboration with Tobias from Ghost. You're all in Sweden anyway, and Nick, Papa's already done a song with the Helicopters to begin with. That's Nick's other band, where he plays guitar and sings for. So, yeah. Lucifer's got a new album coming out in September. Pretty excited about that. And they got a new single out right now. Go check it out. It's hot. I love it. What you been watching on TV, Scott? Anything cool?
Bad Batch.
Yeah, Bad
God,
Batch
it's so
is
fucking
good. We
good.
finally, Rucker
So
finally got
fucking good.
fixed.
Yeah, Wrecker's fixed. They're all got their chips removed now. And
now we know how to fix crosshairs.
Rex has made an appearance now. We got Rex in the mix, and we'll find out more about Omega and see what her future is. Why was she not given a chip? Let's find out.
There's a reason she's with them too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I wonder who she's a clone of.
You think? Is he kind of fat? Can we cosplay as him now?
Yes,
just speculation, people. Just speculation.
Just speculation.
I have not watched an episode of that, although I've heard lots and lots of good things.
My dog's got an opinion over here.
I hear
fun
that.
show. It's Star Wars. It's just like it's the fucking A-team of clones.
But they hit people. They can.
Yeah, they actually hit people.
I'm getting
clone troopers, not stormtroopers. They're clone troopers, not stormtroopers. So
the Bad Batch. The thing I like about it is it's an animated show that's very much like Batman the Animated Series, where that it's actually not made for kids. It's made for older fans and their children to watch together. It's a little more mature than Rebels or Clone Wars. I mean, Clone Wars and Rebels both had their moments, don't get me wrong. But this is a little more darker. A little more Mandalorian darker. It's some of the best writing Dave Filoni's done.
Very much in that same vein. It feels like it's totally different time frame, but it feels very much like that.
Well, have any of you guys watched the
Mitty
Glitch on
completely agrees with us, by the way.
Oh, that's cool.
Have any of y'all watched Glitch on Netflix? It's an Australian series where people start coming back to life in their perfect human form and digging out of the graves and stuff. Really? It's kind of it's like a series. I haven't watched it yet. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I'm planning on checking that out.
Oh, okay.
So
interesting concept. It's Australian, you said. Okay.
Australian.
Mm-hmm.
It's Australian. So, but it is on Netflix, and a couple of people around here have told me about it, so I'm going to check that out.
Oh, and speaking of Netflix, I'm going way off topic here. This is not horror. This is not metal. This has nothing to do with that. But oh my God, if you want to get into introspective, super self-aware geniosity when it comes to music and comedy and a total internal essay of what we've all had to deal with over this past year, Bo Burnham's new special called Inside on Netflix is brilliant.
Okay. I saw that.
If anybody ever doesn't know what Bo Burnham is, this guy is amazing. He's always been ahead of the curve as far as the intellectual, introspective comedy and so forth. He does music, he does songs and so forth, and sometimes, funny songs. But this whole special is just him. He filmed it, he edited it, he produced it, he directed. It's just him making music over a year and a half, being trapped in one room. But it goes into everything we've all had to deal with, the internalization of what the hell is going on in the world around us. And now that I'm in, do I need to go back out there? Do I really need to? Yeah. And there's all kinds of great stuff in between. There's sexting. There's the song called A White Woman's Instagram. Fantastic song.
It's all Starby pictures.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It's just him reenacting the typical pictures you see on any white woman's Instagram. So I highly recommend checking it out. It's an hour and a half long. What a freaking project. It's my favorite thing I've seen this year.
All right. So you'd be reacting to stuff like that over on your YouTube channel, right?
Well, I would love to react to it, but I couldn't wait to watch it. But yes, I've been reacting to a lot of stuff lately. New epic rap battle of history has dropped. And the reaction by the time you hear this is already on my channel. So please go to It's Mr. Scott on YouTube and subscribe and check it out. Who was it? It was Richard the Lionheart against, what was his name? I have to look it up.
King Arthur?
No.
The
Viking
Lionheart versus
Viking Lothor. Oh, goddamn.
So where are you guys falling on leaving Jeff Bezos in space?
I'm wondering who's going to take over Amazon when he doesn't come back.
Yeah, because I'm having
Ragnar Lothbrok. That's who it was.
Ragnar
Lothbrok versus Richard the Lionheart. That was the effort.
My money's on Ragnar.
Yeah, my money's on Ragnar too. But I want to say this: that somebody that had less power than Richard the Lionheart threw Ragnar in a pit of snakes. So funny we're talking about that.
That's referenced too in the battle, by the way.
Yeah, we should have talked to Christine about this earlier. Man.
That's okay.
She would have been all over it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got a new book coming out soon called The God Provides. Check it out when it comes out. It is getting wicked advanced buzz. My mind's blown at the advanced buzz this is getting. And I'm sending it to people I don't know. They don't know who the fuck I am.
Good.
Right?
Good.
So, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be checking that
got
out.
my copy.
Yeah, we'll be checking that out soon when that hits. And you and Walter, when you do the Shadow Cult, you guys talk about wrestling.
Yes, we do. I mean, thankfully, Walter was able to join us this past week. His schedule's been kind of off, but we had a lot of fun on there. We're not just doing pro wrestling pay-per-view reviews anymore. We're getting into more discussions about wrestlers and eras and things like that. So a lot of fun there. Shadow Cult on YouTube. Find us there. We go live every Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And Thrash Maniac 99, he simulcasts us between his Twitch channel and YouTube. And you find our brother Walter at Your Walt Ball on Twitter. He's on Instagram, smoking_Walt_ball. Mm-hmm. Our good brother Daniel Roberts, he's out there too. Sergeant Fury on Twitter and Instagram. He's running everywhere. He's had never got.
Oh yeah, he just did another Spartan.
Jesus.
Of course, he can get his hands on these days or his feet on these days.
He completed a Spartan for the first time in 2 years.
He had Spartan first time in 2 years, and he went there with the face paint done up like fucking Finn Balor and all that stuff. And
no, I thought that was Spawn, not Spawn. Venom.
That's Venom.
It looked like
was Venom. Oh, it was Venom. Okay, because it looks just like the demon.
He's done Finn Balor makeup before.
Yeah, he's done all that stuff. So damn proud of Dan. So yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are. And Skip and I put up another one. We'll have another episode of You Gotta Be Kidding. Talking with, our series with Metal Bob Staffa, Central New York radio personality.
What is the next topic?
I can't remember. It might be reptilians. It could be
already
Alex
did
Jones.
Every Sports is a Work one. I know you did that.
Then there's reptilians, Alex Jones, and there's one other one that we did.
We had a great time that night.
Yeah, we had a great time. We recorded these just before the pandemic started. In a January day in 2020. Wow. And
so it is really a time capsule.
Right. And there was a time delay for them because we had just ran the series of Robert Wilson on the Patreon, and Project Entertainment Network ended up getting rid of the Patreon. So I had these banked. And they've been sitting there, and I was like, well, I got to get these out there so we can listen to them. So we have now. So they're a little dated sometimes because there's things that have happened.
18 months.
Yeah.
Since they were recorded. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
All right. Next week, we are going to be talking to Susan Snyder and her Sharksploitation book coming also from Madness House Press. Thank you, John Baltusberger. Thank you, Godless.
Yes.
Thank
you.
Thank you, Project Entertainment Network. We just
As always.
The show this week, and we didn't say hi to everybody at the beginning. We'll say it to you now.
Say it to you now. All good.
We love you a long time.
Yes, we love you a long time.
All night long.
Stick around after credits. Check out the awesome trailer that I made for The God Provides. And come back next week and listen to us talk to Susan. Coming up next couple of weeks, Jared Barbie is going to be rejoining us to talk about Stygian Press.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about a certain anthology that hopefully.
Oh yeah, that's moved over to that press, by the way.
Has it?
Okay. Yeah, that's one of the things we're waiting on. Makes it a little more legit.
That's nice. And also a cover. I knew that was an issue too.
Yeah, well, I did some design work for it, and
I remember
thrown in some ideas, but nothing's really been satisfactory for any of us.
Yeah.
I'll be quite honest. I liked what I did, but I don't like what I did. It needs to be
understandable. Yeah, for this type of anthology, which you're not going to get into details, but we want to have the right freaking cover.
How about just the cover be the turnbuckle corner, and there's like
there's no wrestling in this.
This isn't the wrestling one.
Oh,
this is a King Diamond anthology, dude.
Oh,
yeah, different anthology. That is a different project. We'll be talking more about in the future.
NSFW.
NSFW.
Yeah. Necro, Slaughterhouse, Federation, Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it Federation Wrestling? Because it's wrestling, and you can say that in wrestling, goddammit.
That's right, damn it.
Yeah, that's right.
Because this stuff ain't sports entertainment.
Right.
It's not an association, it's a federation.
Federation. That's right. It's not an alliance, not an association.
Also got Lisa Vasquez is going to be coming back to talk with us soon too about issue 3 of House of Stitch magazine. She'll be coming
Nice.
back sometime in July too. Talk about that with us. It is going to be awesome. I have 3 articles in there. Review of The Quiet Place Part 2. I haven't talked about it so much on this show. I talk about it in depth in the article as well. Also talking with Cody Goodfellow about Clark Ashton Smith and his contributions to Cosmic Horror and H.P. Lovecraft's Sandbox. And talking again, like I said before, about the resurgence of vampires and movies and in written fiction, especially on Shudder right now when you can go watch Jacob's Wife or Boys from County Hell.
And Thirst. I've heard about this movie Thirst that's on there too.
We have talked about Thirst here on the show before. Yep. Skip has watched it with the gay Russian vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. And that's a bloody mess. And there's a great Amazon Prime description typo for it. Instead of looking for a rogue police officer, he's looking for a rouge police officer. Now that is the greatest. That is one of the best Freudian slips.
Brilliant.
For a typo in a Amazon Prime description, because we all know rouge is another shade of what color?
Red.
Red. Yeah, this movie has got a lot of what in it, Skip?
Blood.
Penis.
Penis
and
blood.
penis.
Yes.
Blood
I've heard a lot
and
of penis too, yes. What is it? It's what country is it?
I think
Not America.
It's no, I think it was yeah.
Portugal? No, not Portugal.
Russian or German. Yeah.
I can't remember what it was.
It was fun. It was a fun film. Even Dan liked it. Sergeant Fury was on it.
That says a
We
lot.
have reviewed it already on the show. But we can always revisit it when Mr. Scott watches one of those.
If I do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You should do a reaction video. Do a reaction video to some of the scenes.
there is a Red Band trailer for it out there.
Oh really?
Yeah, you can do a Mr. Scott Reacts Red Band trailer that you have to be certain age to watch.
I'll put that on my Vimeo channel so it doesn't get blocked.
Yeah, there you go. Just show it.
I've gotten blocked more in like the past month than I have like the whole time I've had this channel.
Just stream it on Twitch. Just do a Twitch exclusive.
I have Vimeo.
You can't
I have
put
a
music
Vimeo
on
channel.
Twitch now.
No, you can't do that. No. So I use Vimeo. Vimeo is completely, there's no restrictions of any kind on Vimeo, so you can put anything up there. Anything I get gets blocked on YouTube goes on Vimeo.
Yeah, you know why it's like that? Because Vimeo pays the ASCAP and BMI. And that's what it comes down to.
Right.
The other doesn't. YouTube doesn't. But even though Vimeo is part of YouTube, it's weird.
Kind of, sort of. It's Google. Yeah.
Whatever. All right.
Who
Next
cares?
week, Susan Snyder. And until then, we're out here. Peace.
Peace. Horns eye.
The Necrocasticon is written and produced by Thomas R. Clarke, Scott Groverston, Walter Ball, Daniel Roberts, and Skip Novak. All content copyright 2021. Music by Daniel Edenfield, used with permission.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
If the sun refused to shine, I would still be loving you.